I think people don't go to therapy because they don't believe that something is wrong with them.
That's
Facts.
good. One thing came
Really.
from
And
that.
Honestly.
and when I started going to therapy as an adult, it was not because something was wrong. I was in a really, really great place in my life. And I remember my therapist saying, "So why are you here?" Well, I'm here because I feel like I'm in a really great place and I'm making really good choices. And I want to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't need, I
Yeah.
could go because something was wrong, but that's not what prompted me to.
Right.
Yes.
Anyone just no?
I
Okay.
mean, I feel like we have to start with the therapist.
I would say for me, I think about like mental health. I see it the same way that people see physical health. Honestly, it's the fundament of who we are and
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do. Like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot do anything else in life if you don't have your mental health secured and taken care of. So just like if you say I'm going to work out 4 days a week, you should be doing something for your mind 4 days a week. You should be doing something for your emotions 4
Mm-hmm.
days a week, right? If you're going to eat a healthy diet, then you shouldn't be putting negative psychological things in your brain because it's going to affect you the same way that eating junk food, there's this
Yeah.
big thing on additives now, right? And unhealthy foods. Like, but how much unhealthy material do we consume every single day? And then we wonder why we feel like crap.
I know. So mental health awareness for me is important because, like, in my family, my background is Panamanian, and it's not something that we really talk about in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, when I started going to therapy, my mom just kept asking me, "Are you okay? Is everything okay? Are you like, are you well?" And like my dad still, he's just like, "Oh, she's going to the doctor," like as if though it's like pacifying what I'm doing. And so I'm really big about like mental health awareness because I'm trying to break a lot of those stigmas that comes from my culture. So I do correct people. I'm like, no, I'm going to a therapist. I'm going to therapy. And I just want to make it like just more normal, like just normalize the idea of mental health as a whole.
And I'll piggyback off everything too, right? It really is the foundation for overall well-being. Um, and so I feel like when I noticed that it was affecting, and this was a couple years ago, but when I noticed that it was affecting how I showed up for people and for myself, I was like, oh, wait, let me figure out what's going on there. And even as being a mental health provider, you would think, oh, I know how to. No, right? It's really something that you have to be intentional about and practice.
I
Ooh.
love this
We
one.
do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Um,
from a therapist.
I think I think for me there are a couple of ways. The first is going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Yes.
is
Huge.
I leave therapy feeling so good.
That's
Really?
I feel so good every time I'm done with my therapist. Like I feel more enlightened about myself and my worldview and the world around me and all of the complexities of life and all of that other foolishness. But when I can't see my therapist, it's being in nature.
Nature
good.
is a big one for me.
Yeah,
Nature is
or
a huge thing for
yeah,
me.
or being near the ocean so I can feel
Being
small.
in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love the water. And like,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely like to move, like movement is really big for me when it comes to like what I like to do to help. Like I'm in therapy as well. Love my therapist. Shout out Alicia. But I definitely love like yoga. I love journaling. Like for a long time, like I'm definitely have so much thoughts that run through my brain. I'm a huge overthinker. And so putting it on paper like helped me like identify like my feelings and like sit with them too, cuz I can be very reactive. So like putting it down, like sitting with those feelings. So I love yoga, love I recently started going on runs, so I feel like that
Ooh,
is like,
nice.
yeah, it's like that runner's high, like it's just
Yeah.
so good, like definitely helps me.
To get past the pain.
Yes, definitely get past the pain. I love spending time. Like I'm a huge quality time person, so I love spending time with my loved ones. I feel like that like brings me back, like brings like helps me just tap into who I am. Like really grounds me. So helps me prioritize my mental health that way. It's definitely hard.
Yeah, for sure. I'll agree with that.
It's definitely hard. I mean, I just try to like be very intentional about like going to therapy. So right now I go every 2 weeks, and just having that standard set appointment that I prioritize above all other things, like that has been really important.
But I think in my overall journey, like my biggest thing is learning to say no,
Yes.
and setting boundaries. Like that's my biggest way of prioritizing, because even just saying no to things that I don't want or that's gonna like dysregulate me as a person, it allows me to free up time for the things that are actually going to help my mental health. Like, just taking those intentional breaks or taking time for myself. But it's just been a big thing about like just putting me first.
Yes.
That's been huge for me.
I'm with y'all. Nature's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Silence is my jam. So I like to do have you all ever did the float pods?
I've heard of it, yeah, but I've
Oh
never
my
done it.
School me on
gosh.
Yes.
So there's a pod that you can sit in. It's a huge pod, right? And it's becoming really big with the whole mental health thing and just resetting yourself. And this pod it's like salt water, heavily salted water, so you can float in it. They do have some that are open to where it's not closed, or you can be in this pod and you can just keep it open. But once you close it, there's soft music that's playing. You're submerged in complete darkness and you're just floating on this water. So it leaves you with nothing but your thoughts, right? But after you do it, you've kind of contemplated, you've calmed yourself down.
I have a hard cutoff time. I'm just gonna say that, right? When I leave work, I leave work. And that's my personal life after, right? So I really just make sure that I create that hard cutoff time. When I'm done, I'm done. That means no calls, no nothing. And sometimes I do try to be flexible, but again, that's mixing with the balance that I need to create. So it's hard to do, but that hard cutoff time does help sometimes. Yeah.
Agree. Boundaries are huge when it comes to that. Like you have to be able to know when to shut it off, or else you're going to be taking your work home with you, working into the wee hours of the morning on the weekends, and then things are going to spiral. And I also think it's important to align what's important to you with when you go out and find employment. If you can find a company that, ask them what do we do as a culture to ensure our employees do have a healthy work-life balance, because there's countless studies out there that show, you know, if you have that, you can produce at a higher level for the company and be successful for everybody that, that needs you to be, including yourself.
I vent as soon as 5 o'clock hits. I get in my car. I call my husband on Mondays and Tuesdays because that's when he's off. And I vent for the entire 19 minutes it takes me to get home. But as soon as I get out of the car, that's it.
That's
Nothing
a
else.
good man,
That's it.
Savannah.
That's a good man, right?
Because
Nothing
men
else.
don't like that.
And he takes it every Monday and Tuesday. Every Monday and Tuesday. If I don't call him on time, he's calling me and he's like, "You had a good day today?" And I'm like, "Every day is a good day, but
Yes.
but that is my literally like after that 19-minute ride home, as soon as my feet hit the pavement, there is no more thinking about work. Like that is it. Work doesn't get thought about until I hop back into that car the next morning at 8:20.
No, literally. And I feel like that's such a hard thing for people to like separate that. Like I used to struggle so much. Like I literally wake up in the middle of the night on my phone. I'm like, like look at my work, like my email, and like so I had to like learn how to like not do that, like creating boundaries. Like you created a boundary within yourself, and I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I do is like don't take it home. Obviously sometimes it's hard not to, but like just creating the boundary with yourself, like put it down, put that phone down, like work's gonna be there, it's not gonna run away from you. And the problems, like if there's a problem, like you can just try to think of how it's gonna get better the next day, but don't stress yourself out with that.
I've always kind of felt like I do a good job on it, but I feel like there's moments where I'm like, why am I bringing this laptop home when I don't need to bring this laptop home? So I think that I'm starting to get in a routine of not bringing my laptop home, and I feel like that's helped me a lot kind of balance what is going on at home and what's going on here and separate it, because it's you can't bring your work into your private life, because then it's going to cause drifts in relationships that you have, like with your roommate or with your partner, but also just within your family, because then you feel like you're not spending enough family time. So I feel like for me, taking that time and separating the work aspect by not bringing my laptop home has actually helped me balance my life better as well, just because then I can go and do the things with my family, but also not feel like I'm committed to that either. So yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
self-guided.
employers have to do their due diligence as well. Like, there's so many different employers that offer the EAP,
I was just
but
about to say that.
their employees don't know how to access it. They don't know what it is,
They
so
don't
it
even know
goes
how to talk about
unused.
it.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
it goes unused. So I want to challenge other employers to get out there and just really understand what benefits that they're offering their employees and know how to market it to them, know how to provide that to them. Because if I'm walking in HR, who's first line of defense for, when I'm feeling some type of way, and I'm like, oh, I think I want to put my notice in today, but they don't know what questions to really ask me to know,
Yes.
like, it sounds like actually this might need to be your first step. Like, let's go this route, and
Yes.
then maybe we can revisit this later if you still feel that
That's
way.
true.
But if it's not being offered, then we're a doomed
Yes.
society.
Which I feel like that's sorry.
No, please.
I feel like I've experienced that before where like let's say I was struggling with my mental health like really bad or like whether it was school or work and I go and I'm like I'm gonna drop this class or I'm gonna like I want to put my 2 weeks in
Yeah.
and like sometimes teachers, professors or employers are like, all right, well, see ya.
Exactly.
And like I had like my first ever experience. Well, when I first found out what EAP was, I went to my supervisor and I was just like really struggling. But at the time, I was just like, I think I'm just gonna put my 2 weeks in, And she was like, this doesn't sound like you. Like, what's going on? Like, she took the time to really like ask me what's going on, and she was like, we have EAP. Like, please. She sat with me in her office and was like, you're not leaving the office till you call. I'm gonna be here with you to support you, and like we're gonna go through this together. And like I was just like I really appreciated that she did that for me because I don't know if I would have done it for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody would have like guided me to like show me what it was to like get the help. So I just like I really appreciated that.
Well, you could come here. I think that's what I will always say. I feel like seeing a therapist is not a bad thing. And I feel like, again, we're going back to the whole discussion we've had is that people have brought this stigma on mental health and that, so bringing into the fact of you can have a therapist, use the resources that you are given. So, come here. We have fantastic, obviously, therapist team here. But they'll have your back and there's someone that you can talk to when you feel like you have no one else to talk to about it.
Kind of piggybacking off what you said, like, you really just have to get started, but like don't be afraid to try a few different things and figure out like what your avenue is going to be, like what's going to help you the best. I have switched therapists a few times, and sometimes I pick a therapist based off like what I'm going through in life. Like, when I was dating and I was struggling with like my dating world, I picked a man because I kind of felt like I needed somebody to give me like the raw, you know what I mean? I needed raw and unfiltered, and somebody to like be very like strict on me. But then when I was going through other like health issues and stuff with myself as a woman, I was like, okay, I need to speak to a woman who could be a little softer and kinder and sensitive with me right now. And so I just have given myself grace to be flexible, to know that like, oh my gosh, if I went to this one therapist or if I tried this one thing and it didn't work, it doesn't mean that like one therapy doesn't work or two that I'm in some way a failure. So just being flexible and being open to things is probably the first thing, and then just trying, take the step and try.
Yeah, just being able to acknowledge what it is that you need in that moment is super important, and that can be the first step. That alone by itself can be the first step of just starting small, acknowledging it, and going from there. On top of that, also just giving yourself grace and knowing that it's not going to be a straight line journey.
Yeah, no.
Right? You're going to take twists and turn, and just being comfortable with the uncomfortable is important.
Okay. I think people don't go to therapy because they don't believe that something is wrong with them.
Facts.
That's good.
And
we could start a whole line of I think people don't go to therapy.
Facts.
I mean, really,
honestly.
And when I started going to therapy as an adult, it was not because something was wrong. I was in a really, really great place in my life. And I remember my therapist saying, so why are you here? Well, I'm here because I feel like I'm in a really great place and I'm making really good choices. And I want to keep doing that. I don't need, I could go because something was wrong, but that's not what prompted me to.
Yes.
I went because things were right. They were good. And I think we should remember that we don't have to go to therapy because something is wrong.
Yes.
We can go because everything is right.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true. I mean, you have people that I've had people join my caseload just because they were like, I want to meet monthly for maintenance. Like they're coming into me. They're coming into me at the maintenance level, you know, and I'm fine with that. Like, I think everybody can benefit from therapy. Like, you don't have to feel like something's wrong with you. Like, everybody just needs a non-judgmental person to sort their thoughts out with.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
what's wrong with that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like talking, I always tell people, like, it's like you're talking to yourself. You know,
Yeah.
like,
No, literally.
I'm you. I'm just giving you back to you, and we're sorting it out. And I'm helping you come to better decisions and just figure your life out, you know? Whether it's the worst problem, a little problem, like anyone can benefit from having someone to talk to. Sometimes I get a lot of people who they don't really have a good support system or they don't really have a lot of friends, and I recognize I might be their only friend. It was like, yeah, I'm a professional sort of friend, and together we're gonna work on how can we get you more friends outside of the therapy room. Like that's definitely gonna be my goal. But right now in this moment, I might be the only person in your life that's actually listening to you and validating you.
Yes.
Our parents are going to see mental health different, right? Because when we get into the place of trying to educate them, I don't know about that, right? It doesn't always work as planned, right?
Exactly.
And while they may get some concepts, I think their overarching like way that they handle things always comes back into play, right? And we sort of just have to say, okay, well, this is your way, but this is now my way of doing things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Separating it.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think it's interesting too, like you can see generations that do have that kind of group thought and their unmet needs as they get older, what kind of is the byproduct of that. You see an increase in adult, mental health needs in elderly population, huge unmet mental health needs, huge. And, who knows if, 2-3 generations back, if, we would be having this conversation back then. You catch it early and, that could have been something that could have been mitigated, from an earlier age. But like you said, trying to teach somebody or try to educate somebody who's, a different generation, sometimes it doesn't go very well. You're kind of dismissed in a way.
Exactly.
And that can create a whole nother, open a whole nother can of worms. But
100%, just having all your providers in one place can be so helpful. And to also know that you have a team. You literally have a team behind you. And to add to it, just having this affirming and inclusive care, right?
agree.
That talks about everything. I think is super important. So I'm super happy as well to just be a part of a organization that speaks to the whole part of a human, right?
Agree.
Versus just one piece or this piece, the whole piece.
Yeah. So I'm not from a healthcare background, but as I stepped into this organization, I thought that was really cool as well. Like you can come here for your primary care, and for me, I've had health issues that have led to, different issues that I've had with my mental health. So knowing that you can come to one place and see a primary care doctor, and then be able to see a therapist, and then have psych on site, that's amazing. Like to have that type of well-rounded healthcare access. So.
I'm gonna say our closet.
That's where I was going.
Our closet indirectly helps a lot of people with mental health. Just because I see the way that they come in, and some of them are like, I've experienced this. We've had a few clients that have recently just, came back from incarceration. I have some clients that are recently moving into houses that, were previously homeless, and everything. But seeing them hit that closet and just seeing all the clothes in there that they have options to, and knowing that we have that dressing room for them to try stuff on, and now I have a few full-length mirrors. I'd make them come out of the dressing room and what they've tried on. Like, I want you to fully see yourself in all this natural light. Like, tell me what do you like about this outfit? How does that outfit make you feel? Let's put some shoes on with this. Let me see if I got a couple jewelry pieces in here. Like, let's put a full outfit together.
And I've been plugging the closet a lot these days.
But it's but it has worked. The closet has, has gotten a lot of referrals now down to our behavioral health because they see themselves now in that new light, and they like, I do want to feel this all the time. Like, I love this.
Like, I told people, like, like, I think about pursuit of happiness, right? Like, you
Yeah.
have a job interview and you can't go because you don't feel like you have business professional clothes. Like, come to the closet. You might find a suit down there or something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That could help you get a job. Like,
We have someone that came in for a suit, and they were like, I was told to look my best. This is a Fortune 500 company. They were like, I don't know if I really got it. Like, I've been out of touch for a while. We're going to find you a suit.
Yes.
Put a suit together.
okay.
How about out of 100 people, still right now, third round?
Yes.
Yes.
The suit. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's the suit, but it's like, it really wasn't the suit. It's your attitude. It's the affirmations that we poured into you in this closet when we built this outfit for you. It's the way that you felt in that outfit. It had nothing to do with this suit.
Yeah.
I got